Driving around Ohio, heading to Ollie's baseball game this afternoon. I want to get a few of the videos done. I got the opening done. I want to get the racehorses done. Now, Atlas Hanover, highly anticipated start, went down the tubes the other day. It did not look good at all. Kind of looked lethargic. There was no blood, no pimples, no mucus. He was easy to flip. But I'd said to Jason, it looked like his feet were bothering him a little bit. Now, that could have been his feet bothering him. That could have been him slipping a little bit. But that is the same track we qualified on, so I don't know about the latter. We'll see. I believe both him and the vet have a plan to combat that this week, and he is picked to win again, down a class again, Monday at Grand Raceway, Monday at Northfield Park. HL Ballou, Mark keeps telling me the same thing. He's just pretty well ready. He was sick his last start, as we had a couple of his last schooler, I guess. Same as we had a couple of horses that were sick. I told him, I said, just tell me when he's going to go. No big deal. There's no pressure from this side. You know, we waited this long for him, and I knew we would, which is not a problem at all. I'm happy to wait until Mark believes he is at 100%. So his qualification is imminent. How the hell... Little miffed the other day. I know that Louis, the horse, didn't hit the trot right away. I wish he'd have finished the mile so we didn't have to qualify him, but nevertheless, we didn't get our wish. And he'll be qualifying Tuesday. I'll qualify him Tuesday morning at Mohawk. I still don't see any issues with the horse, so we'll see if I'm wrong on Tuesday. Haunted House, I had a great conversation with Mark about Haunted House. He said he trained him 58 over Saratoga. He thought he was good, but he said he's a big horse. He's suited better for a bigger track. So we'll enter him once more at Plain Ridge, and then we'll see what we have to do after that. As I said to him, he's got some really impressive lines coming in. I'd hate to spoil them with a bad one, especially since we know at some point he's going to reach a plateau where do we continue on? Do we keep this guy and aim for higher things, or have we saturated everything we wanted to and hoped we could with Haunted House? We'll see. That story has yet to be written. We'll see how that plays out this week. I hope he gets into go, and I hope it's in the bottom of the 2. He still fits in Elmer's a 2, not more than 5. And the next class up is Elmer's a 6, not more than 10, I believe he said. As you can imagine, the second one, is quite a bit tougher than the first one. If the first one isn't filling, we may have to settle for the second one for a week, but we'll see how that plays out. I Forbid You is in to go tonight. Made some shoeing changes with her. I expect her to be quite a bit better than she was last week. In fact, she still paced the last half in 55 seconds last week. So I think you'll probably see me take her off the gate, race her a little more conservatively, and look for that big kick. Get her in a spot to use that kick safely. That's the plan for her this week. J.K. Mickey Mantle will school on Tuesday. Both him and No Free Lunch will school on Tuesday. Harry said we can train them Saturday at the farm or school them. Obviously, I'm going to pick school them since the qualifiers are a week from Tuesday anyway. Why don't we school on Tuesday? Makes all the sense in the world. JK Victory was awesome the other night. Although he was 5th, he was beat, 2 lengths? Length and something. Paced his last quarter in 25-3, 25-4. Thought the horse looked better again, gains again with this guy. So starting to seem like the horse that we purchased is starting to show up. I guess it's not shocking that he's doing his best work in the place that he did his best work last year. Just happy to see him doing good work. Looks like Money qualified great in the Meadowlands Day. Scotty called me after to say, what a nice horse. Big headwind. He had a big headwind at the Meadowlands. Obviously, I wasn't there. He said that 28 last quarter was plenty fast. Renegade Gypsy, trying to get him back on track. Yeah, he was good the other day. Is he awesome? No. A little bit better right hind. We had done his knees again. His knees were a bit of a flashpoint, which makes me believe is his feet bothering him a little bit. We had the flip-flops on him. I believe he shot appropriately right now. I know Mario had some reservations about the egg bars behind, but regardless of the flashpoint, we have to work on that, but we also have to work on the symptoms. And that right hind, I believe, is a symptom of what's going on up front. Have to take care of it all as we chip away at the main issue. And I think he's good. He's not in this week, but I suspect he's probably going to have to go down and school on Tuesday. He will go down and school on Tuesday. And we'll likely look to race him next weekend. I'd like to see him go back to Georgian Downs, but I don't know that there's class there for him. I'm not sure That's Mario's department, and I'll talk to him, I suspect, this weekend about it. Resolute Bay was awesome the other day. Really happy with him. He's not 100%. You can see he's still a little uncomfortable in his feet and his knees, but he's still working through it and still actively looking for the winner's circle, which is always a staple of the little red guy's attitude. Just a great little horse he's been for us and continues to be. Stonebridge Acadi's been flat his last 3, but in fairness, first over coming off the virus put me in a tough spot. I know Scotty and I joked, but he said I wouldn't have moved him. I get it, but we're here to race, and when it comes to Stonebridge Acadi, Northfield Park, and knowing all the players in the game, if I had stayed in 4th, I would have been 8th along the rail at the head of the lane, and that wasn't going to happen. So hopefully we'll be in a better spot. 3-hole this week, not a ton of speed inside of them. Should be a more favorable trip for Stonebridge Acadi this week. 3-point blue chip, as I said, Walker jogging. They're putting some work into him. You know, his arrival back to the races is not imminent, and it won't be until the end of the fall, probably, I suspect, is when we're looking for it. We'll see how that plays out over the next little while, but for right now, 3-point blue chip just putting in some work. Unbeatable Kemp hit the gate the other day and made a break, and then missed the gate by a little bit. I suspect a better mile coming from Unbeatable Kemp on Tuesday. He'll probably miss a week after this week. We'll do some vet work on his vet work. His bill is a little higher than the average horse, obviously, goes without saying, but we're making gains, I believe, when it comes to the soundness of Unbeatable Kemp. Inches forward, but still forward progress. Yo Mister, I thought, raced really well yesterday, 3rd in the Open. It was a deep end of the water for him. Raced well. I expect him to continue to race well. I'd like to see him back in that lower class if we could get him in there. Locatelli isn't his sharpest, but still doing great work on the track. I thought the horse raced really, really well again this week. Got picked off. I thought he could have been a winner, but still, I thought he raced very well. So Locatelli raced good again in Ontario. No free lunch. He is schooling on Tuesday. That means he'll be qualifying the following Tuesday. Really happy and nice to see this guy back at it. He'll be back at it in a few weeks racing, I suspect. Oakwood Cowboys in tonight. Tough spot to be in. 7-hole on a half-mile track. Whew. I'd like to have a streak of luck with this guy, right? Find some favorable classes and some inside draws, and quite the opposite. Outside draws with a little saltier bunch. Not the preferable place for Oakwood Cowboy, but we're going to have to take our lumps. It is what it is. We're going to play the hand we're dealt tonight. Stay close. Tied up again, the bugger. It's never perfect. There's always something in horse racing. No injury to report, just a tie-up that we have to work through. He tied up pretty good his last start, and then had somewhat relapsed, I guess is the proper word for it. Midweek, he had trained him. Dominic trained him, said he trained great, but seemed a little stiff afterwards. They took his blood, and sure enough, he had tied up. So we're going to have to change the way we go about training, racing, jogging, working him out, put him on a little stricter regiment starting this week, and get that blood down and get him in to go. Kings County made a break with no hobbles on his last start. Now they had him in to go in a very favorable spot at the Meadows, and well en route to the Meadows, got a flat tire in the trailer and missed Lasix, scratched. So a little frustrating, but far from the end of the world. We'll get Kings County back in to go soon. White Tiger, he's pretty good. He's making his gains moving forward. I'd like to see some more gains this week when he races. Patrick De Prano was good. Again, bit of a flat week with some of our top horses, but when flat weeks still result in first and seconds, it's not the end of the world. Patrick De Prano I've seen him race better. I think he was a little bit flat, but you know what? The horse got the job done, 51-4. Certainly no complaints from me. Per Lucky has been racing his heart out, doing the best he can in Kentucky, just falling short a little bit. I'm going to drive him this week. We're coming to the end of the Kentucky meet in another 2 weeks. And I don't know what. Probably Per Lucky will end up going out to Illinois with the fillies, I think, to Jim Eaton. We'll see him race in Illinois again and maybe a little bit in Indiana. He did some good work out there when he had him. Took a dive off Dipper. Again, another horse just trying his hardest to fit in a tough spot. Paced like 150 last week and ended up 4th or 5th. He's still doing good work, so good for him. And Sintra, similar situation, kind of not the Sintra of last year, but he's 10 years old now, right? We didn't buy the Sintra of last year. We bought Sintra last year, and he ended up being way better than we thought he'd be. This is kind of the Sintra we purchased last year. So just trying to find a spot for him in between classes and some good trips. Somebody said, well, can we not send him here? We can send him a lot of places. But at the end of the day, he's going to go from the backup class back up into the open, and somebody said, well, I'll just put him in a 30. I'll buy all your shares, every single one of them, priced at 30 if you'd like. Horse is certainly not a 30 claimer. And even though he's in between classes, I can tell you one thing. There's a lot of horses in between classes that did pace 150 in their last 3 starts, and he did. So, Sintra, looking for a little bounce back, still in a tougher class. Like to see him drop back into the numbers at 8 starting next week. If we had a better spot for him right away, and if we have to send him, listen, if he's soundly defeated tonight, then we can talk about maybe capitalizing on that numbers at 8 somewhere else, elsewhere. We can do that. That's a discussion for after his race tonight. So, with that, you're all up to date on the racehorses. I'll move through the 3-year-olds, see if I get to the 2-year-olds, but for right now, you're all caught up with the H horses. Take care.